Should we start? That's a good question, and we have 23 to get through. I believe they're all relatively short. We can probably get through the entire story.
Okay.
My God.
How many words?
Somebody record this.
There is 32,000 words in this.
What the hell? Nico!
Weak. Fucking
Weak
weak.
sauce.
That's weak sauce. You gotta try her in that now.
Jesus Christ, we have a lot of people here.
You pinged everyone. What do you think was going to happen?
Well, look. Oh, God damn it.
Go server muted.
Alright, I have to start eventually, and your people are making it rather difficult.
Liberalism. Get that shit out of here.
Alright.
Liberal with facts and logic.
No, they actually have teams. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Are they here, the people who are...
Somebody paid me to make some degeneracy, by the way, so I'm just going to be doing that while you're...
Alright, I suppose... Alright, God damn it, this is going to be difficult. Carl, thank you for being here to witness this, so...
I'm just going to mute anyone that isn't you, Cyrus, okay?
No, don't mute anyone. We're allowing commentary after every 3 chapters.
Okay, but I'm still going to mute everyone.
Alright, anyhow, I suppose we should start with the intro. As is an Equestria. For future reference, we are going to list off the tags. MLP, Friendship is Magic. Gore, Dark, Human, Celestia, Luna, OC, Other, Main 6. Dieter Heinrich, SS Oberfuhrer of the Waffen-SS, is escaping Berlin during the dramatic collapse of the Third Reich. Dieter is shot by a Russian sniper and mysteriously wakes up in a strange paradise known by its inhabitants as Equestria. Dieter will blaze a trail across Equestria. His actions will topple governments and annihilate species. This is a story of a human being who would forever change Equestria. Chapter 1. Berlin. Berlin was falling. Of that there could be no doubt. The once glorious army of the Third Reich lay in ruins, pushed to its very capital by the Red Army of the Soviet Union. The West, the Allies set in like a vengeful tide, and it came down to one battle. It came down to one final battle in the ruins of German capital. That is a symbolic gesture of defiance, really. The downfall was inevitable. 6 years of war had not been too kind to the city. What was once an urban metropolis had been ground to the earth, powdered by the constant air raids from the Allied bombers. Civilians flooded the streets, fleeing the wrath of the Red Army as they burned a vengeful swath through the city. Soldiers, children really, all strategic choke points in the city. Everyone was desperate. The air smelled of it. Every now and then, a shell would fall close to a convoy of civilians fleeing the city. They would flinch, staring apprehensively towards the explosion, hoping, praying that the Russians would not find them, hearing their battle cries of Czechy drinking. SS Oberfuhrer Dieter Heinrich couldn't care less whether or not the Russians found the civilians. His current priority was the preservation of his own life, not those of those too weak to take up arms. Dieter knew that it was over. The Third Reich was collapsing. The Fuhrer was most likely dead. The only logical choice was to flee the wrath of the Soviets. Dieter could understand the Russians' vindictiveness. He could even respect it. After all, he and his comrades invaded Russian land and massacred millions of their people, most of them innocent. That did not mean that he would accept his own fate. He had seen what the Russians did to SS officers, and he had no intention of becoming another corpse hanging from a tree. The Russians rounded a corner of the street. They saw Dieter and wildly opened fire in his direction. Care not if they hit the German civilians. Dieter dived for cover behind a pile of rubble. He felt a piece of wood penetrate his arm. The adrenaline coursing through his veins dulled the pain. Dieter unstrapped his MP-40 submachine gun, flicking the safety off. He moved into a crouching position so that he could aim over the rubble. Dieter fired 2 shots. The first round went through the eye of the Russian soldier, bursting the eyeball and severing the optic nerve, and entering the soft brain tissue behind. The round continued traveling for a fraction of a second before being stopped by the density of the brain matter. The Russian twitched from nerve shock and collapsed, face first to the ground. The second round punched through the other Russian's jugular a millisecond later. Its sheer velocity shattered his larynx. The round then ricocheted off the spine and merged through the side of his throat, spinning and over and as it severed his carotid artery. The Russian made a gargling noise as he tried to breathe despite the hole in his throat. Blood bubbled as he aspired, and he collapsed into the mud, dead. It had taken less than 2 seconds. Peter felt nothing. He felt no joy nor relief, nor did he feel the horror that he had taken 2 lives. He had taken many before, and was like to take many more. It was war. They had attacked him. Now they were dead. Peter got up from behind the rubble. He glanced at his arm, wincing slightly as he saw the wood jutting out of his wound. He relaxed his arm. Closing his hand around the wood, he quickly yanked the wood out. Blood gushed from the open wound. Peter promptly brought out a flask of schnapps. Quickly taking a swig, he poured it into the wound, gritting his teeth as he did so. It hadn't been the worst pain he had felt. It would pass. Peter took out a piece of cloth and expertly bandaged the wound. It was not perfect, but it would do. His healing done, Peter looked around. The civilians had gone, either taking cover within the structure still standing, or rounding the corner of the street to escape the city. Dieter shrugged and continued walking. It was nighttime. Dieter had walked for a further 6 hours after he had killed the 2 Russians. Sounds of the battle were dying down, although flares and explosions still punctuated the silent night with blinding flashes of red light. Dieter was almost out of the city. By his estimates, he had only 2 more blocks to go. His arm was burning, and Dieter was almost tempted to lay down and sleep as the exhaustion threatened to overwhelm him. Dieter refused to give in. He had been trained to be as steel, unbendable, unbreakable. He stumbled onward. Peter saw the edge of the city in the distance. He was nearly there. He was going to make it. He would live after all. Peter's pace quickened as he felt hope of survival. A shot rang out. Peter suddenly felt the pain in his sternum. Looking down, he saw a massive opening in his chest. Peter cursed sadly. Of course the Russians would have posted snipers. Peter cursed again. Was this some cruel trick of fate? He had been so close. He sank to his knees, his normally straight posture sagging as he felt the overwhelming tiredness seize him. Peter fell back, and there was darkness. Author's note. This is the first chapter of my first story. Please leave comments and feel free to give me critiques on my grammar and writing style. Enjoy. Chapter 2. Awakening. Dieter awoke gasping. How was that possible? He did not know. After all, he had been shot. Was he dead? I wasn't sure. The pain hit him. He was quite sure that the dead felt no pain. Of course, the pain could simply mean that he was in hell. He inhaled. The air was fresh and scented the flowers. Yes, he was definitely in hell. He was laying on grass. He opened his eyes. The sun's golden rays shone through his trees. He decided it was too pleasant to be hell. It must have meant that he was alive. There's supposed to be no pain in heaven. He was not in hell. Peter got up. He found that the crater that had been in his chest was no longer there. He checked his arms. The puncture wound had also mysteriously healed. However, his uniform was caked in blood and dust, and he still had his weapons. Peter took his surroundings. He seemed to be in a forest. He was confused. How did he get there? He distinctly remembered being shot in the ruins of Berlin. Peter randomly picked a direction and began to walk. He did not see the big building in New Berlin. Peter had been walking for about 20 minutes when he had heard that sounded like footsteps. He unstrapped his MP-40 and cautiously advanced towards the noise. It had been a Russian patrol. Peter crouched low, aiming over foliage. He made sure that he had a clear line of sight, so he could return fire if necessary. Peter was a hardened veteran of the Eastern Front. It was almost impossible to surprise him. He knew all the spots they would hide the women and the children. What he saw did surprise him. Father Spark disliked making trips to the Everfree Forest. It was dark and spooky, and full of ravaging rat-headed skeletons. She always made a point of bringing somebody along with her, even on mundane trips such as visiting Zecora or Mississippi. Fluttershy was the logical choice. After all, she seemed to have almost mystical connection with animals. Fluttershy was timid at the best of times, despite her ability to calm the angriest creatures. Fluttershy was at ease at the moment, but things changed quickly. Just a second, I'm checking who pinged me. Yes, thank you very much for sharing that image. Anyhow, as the 2 ponies cantered past a group of bushes, there was a sudden rustling. Twilight's head pivoted, and she found herself looking at strange bipedal creatures. Were strange clothing to remind Twilight of the military uniforms that her brother's shining armor wore. As Twilight looked closer, she noticed that the clothes were caked in blood. In the creature's hooves, hands, Twilight corrected herself, was a strange boxy implement made of dark metal. Twilight noticed that the creature had a smaller one on its belt. With a shudder, Twilight noticed a knife hanging beside it on the belt. The creature had a hard, angular face and blue eyes like those of a baby. It wore a hat. Twilight noticed with a start, had a skull insignia marked upon it. The hat was blonde fur. The fur did not extend past the top of the head. Fluttershy whimpered, hide behind Twilight. Twilight couldn't blame him. The creature appeared terrifying. Twilight saw her fear and spoke anyway. Orion, it's your turn. God damn it, is he here?
He's here. No, he's unmuted. Orion, fucking talk.
God damn it.
Alright, we're gonna ignore him.
Alright, yeah. Seriously, he asked to be Twiggles and he's the lead. Alright, that's brilliant. Hi, my name is Twiggles. What is your name? The creature blinked. You speak English? Oh yeah, that I forgot. Peter was surprised. Standing right here before him were two garlish-colored equines. However, they seemed sentient and could speak. At least the purple one could. Upon closer inspection, noticed that the one that had flown itself as Twilight's sporkle had a purple horn protruding from its head. Peter saw that its mane and tail were styled much the same way a human female would style her hair. Did the creature's voice sound as though it was a female's voice? And the mane was a darker color than the rest of the unicorn's body, with a streak of crimson running through it. Both had a dark purple eyes that appeared disturbingly human, although slightly larger. Peter found it extremely disconcerting they appeared sentient, like betrayed the presence of a mind that any normal animal would lack. Why is more people making me in this? The second equine was a butter yellow color, entirely behind the unicorn. Twilight's sporkle Dieter reminded himself of pink mane and tail and green eyes. The pupils Dieter noticed contracted. The creature obviously found him intimidating. Dieter noted that this one had wings. Dieter knew he had seen something similar in a book during his childhood. He searched for a name. He found it. The creature was called a Pegasus. These creatures were like those of a fairy tale. Twilight's sporkle. The purple equine frowned. That, too, was frightening. These creatures could make facial expressions, despite the fact that they had snouts. Dieter held out his hand to placate the two, like an enraged animal, lion perhaps. What leaped out of the bushes was not in fact a lion, it was a horrid amalgamation of several animals. He had the body and head of a lion, but it was shaping out to be an obvious and absolutely nerve-wracking day. Fluttershy looked absolutely terrified and was breathing heavily. Run! Fluttershy! Twilight was cut off by the explosion and was cut off by 3 explosions in quick succession. She saw flames leaping out of the creature's weapon. The weapon was devastating. The bat lover's right eye was blown out of its socket. Next, its ear was torn. But they were a family. You can't do that. Who cares? Again, the creature shrugged. Fluttershy looked the creature in the eye and stared. Her anger overriding all thought of self-preservation. Her eyes widened. She gritted her teeth, her fear making itself clear. The creature stared back. Fluttershy suddenly felt an overpowering fear. This creature had killed 7 bat lovers without a second's thought. When it looked back through, she felt the boredom in its eyes, the cold indifference. She didn't care. The creature could easily kill her if it wanted to. Fluttershy deflected. The creature turned to Twilight. It spoke.
I am Obenführer Dieter Heinrich of the Waffen-Schutzstaffel of the Third Reich, and I am human.
Author's note. Please feel free to.
Tito as well. I think you muted him.
No, Tito doesn't talk.
Oh well, that's neat.
He'll never talk.
Ah!
You get the mic. Hey guys.
I gotta mute Nico. Probably. Maybe.
Yeah, just
Can I read
for
the
break
next
as I will
one?
need to do
Nico stays muted.
sleep. Yeah,
Everyone's unmuted for now.
Yeah. So then, how is everyone enjoying story time?
It's fun.
Dom, you faggot.
Best story ever.
Faggot.
You have
Oh yeah, the authors here. Everyone's.
Oh, the office here?
Yeah.
What? Who is he?
No, Murata, just everyone say hi to Dom.
Hello.
Hello.
How did he
Say
know
hi.
Hi.
Hello? Hello?
We
Oh,
have,
yeah.
we have a man of the server.
No.
Okay.
What's his username? I'm trying to find him.
Domerator.
Dominator.
Neat.
Alright.
Come on, Dom, talk, you faggot.
Alright, so I guess I suppose accommodate a bit here. I genuinely have to admit there's a couple of grammar mistakes, but overall, the grammar is pretty solid for what it is, considering you were 13 when you wrote this.
Okay, let chapter 3 win. Let's go. Let's get this fucking over with.
Alright.
Hacking hell.
Yeah, chapter 3. Pony will. Twilight had eventually gotten over the shock. She bombarded the Dieter with what he considered to be main questions. She asked him about everything, from his uniform to where he came from. He answered each question levelly. Mother remained silent throughout the trip, her head bowed as she thought she was afraid of him. She likely was, Dieter thought, but killing was not the best way to make acquaintances. The questions continued, so they could learn a couple of things from this. The questions continued. He continued answering. Dieter eventually gave Twilight an entire summary of the war. The fateful day, 1st of September 1939, is near death in Berlin. But a few of the details appeared to make Twilight physically ill. Dieter continued. Twiggles became increasingly sickened as Dieter described the atrocities committed by both sides in the Eastern Front. The fact that millions had died there. Twiggles began to think that bringing him to Ponyville was not a very good idea. This man was a hardened killer. You killed how many people? Twilight passed in front of-
186, Dieter responded. He paused. No, 188.
Why? Twiggles was horrified. This man had killed the equivalent of half the world's population. Not for the first time, she began to question the logic of her choice. This man could possibly be hostile and had the capability to massacre every pony in town. She could only hope that he remained as friendly as he had been. If he was not, we were doomed. They continued on in silence for quite some time. Finally, Twiggles asked him another question. How did his weapon work? She wished that she had not, as he went into a long-winded description of the weapon's capabilities. The way he casually described how the weapons dealt with death was terrifying for Twiggles, yet it was also fascinating. The human's technology far exceeded what she had considered possible. She wished she could take notes. Despite her revulsion, she simply hoped that she could remember the hour of information they had described to her. A twig snapped, and Dieter suddenly pivoted on his heel, bringing his MP40 up to his shoulder. His hard-cold blue eyes pivoted in his head as he scanned for possible targets. Finally, seemingly confident that there were no Ukrainian children, he slowly lowered his weapon. The sudden movement reminded Twiggles just what kind of world he came from. He came from a world war. There had been two major ones within the first 50 years of what the humans call the 20th century. 90 million people had died, and that was simply a wild estimate. What kind of
We should probably mute us.
who cares? Race could descend to such depths of depravity. What race could kill so many of their own? As a pony, there was a constant seemed alien to Twiggles. Their culture, the ones that Princess Celestia had set up, was one of pacifism. Such while it seemed unreal, that she had seen it firsthand. It was chilling. Twiggles decided to tell Dieter about the question's history. From Discord's rule to the modern period, she told him the elements of harmony. Dieter simply stared at nothing with nothing short of incredulity. Twilight did not understand. What was so strange about the history of Equestria? She thought it was unlawfully rude of him to scoff at her species' heritage. Perhaps he thought of their species as soft. After all, the species had killed millions of their own. What seemed to be like a more or less constant state of Twiggles thought it, though, was interrupted as they entered Horsey Whale, from the edge of what the ponies called the ever-free forest. I had no idea what scared him so much within the forest. It was nothing compared to Stalingrad. He saw a cyan Pegasus with a multicolored mane come racing towards him. her wings pumping furiously, her mane and tail causing a rainbow-colored streak. He knew that it was going to attack. He rolled at last moment, drawing his combat knife. The Cyan Pegasus struck a brown pony with a black mane. Cyan Pegasus struck a brown pony with a black mane tied blossom. The brown pony, wore a suit and had the bearing of one who thought he owned. He saw the brown pony Hisu began to berate the Cyan Pegasus. He saw Twila staring at knife with fear. She shook her head at him, signaling that he should put it back. He raised an eyebrow. She's a friend. He's not hurt her. While I could speak, Peter sheathed his knife. He approached the quarreling ponies. He noted the brown pony had 3 money bags as a key. Wiggles referred to the symbols upon the pony's asses. He frowned. Tony turned towards him, preparing to accost him for the intrusion upon what he believed to be righteously indignant lecture. Tony's tongue stopped as he saw not a pony, but a large, imposing figure. Dieter
Peter
leaned
leaned in close. Are you a Jew? He asked quietly.
Aynen diyordun. Aynen. Aynen. Wow.
Changes.
Either characterization with literally no characterization.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
back. What did I
Exactly.
miss?
I'm watching this for the plot.
Hi. I'm back. Sorry.
Right, you missed your chance to wiggle.
Oh, I missed it. What?
Yeah, you're gonna continue doing that. Now. You're gonna be the rest of the main 6.
I'm gonna be. Oh, wonderful. Okay.
Okay, we're on chapter 4.
Chapter 4. Meet the gang.
Oh boy, this is that part of the human equestria fic that everybody, where they meet.
They are literally all the same, and this is no exception.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is. They genuinely way. Inside, he said, if this pony was indeed a Jew, he would die. The weak perish, the strong survive. This was the rule of the Third Reich, and always used. Peter knew that his anger was more than that. The ghost of the past still haunted him. He had dealt in death and around much too long to care anymore. Part of him was dead. He was no longer capable of compassion, and had died with his family. Tony shrank back in fear. Peter felt only distaste. This one was a coward. He shrank back, fear for his life. Peter was surprised that he had survived this long. But his strong deserved to live. He suddenly straightened his back. Peter knew that pose. It was a pose that came whenever the rich were indignant. It was usually followed by a singular question. Do you know who I am, Goy? Pony asked. I am filthy rich. You eat because of me. I can't make a Jewish accent to save my life.
You're already Jewish, Cyrus.
Do you know who I am, Goy?
Alright, what was that? You're reading the...
eat because of me, Goy. You filthy
Dominator.
Gentile. I'll circumcise you a second time for this.
Did you even do improv? This is great.
Dom, you're a national treasure. Can you read the Jewish lines?
I can do a brilliant impression of a Jew.
Okay.
What? Because you're
I own the liberals with facts and logic.
God is
No.
here.
Get
The
wrecked.
transgender suicide rate is 40%. Why isn't it 60? We can
Dom, you are...
We've gone off topic.
Yeah,
Right, the
Yeah.
Discord server has been shut down.
That yard
Only
one,
the
whoever
alt-right
that yard one person is a really good Jewish
Well,
accent. He should do some.
Okay, I just want my Israel. So can you not be this Jewish?
Just own the liberals, dude.
How long before Discord shuts down?
Beast.
About 2 more hours.
Alright, Dieter felt
You better
control.
hurry up.
This name was strangely fitting. Dieter found himself suppressing cold laughter. He ate because of his minuscule creature. He could eat the stuck-up parasite. Dieter's face showed no emotion. Ever the effective us said, Answer
my question. Are you a Jew? Peter's voice remained level, even mechanical. He took out his Luger. It would be amusing to kill him.
Who's... God damn it, Selenite, your line is no, like a hesitant no. Someone.
Huh?
Can someone do a Can someone do a Jewish? Can someone do a Jewish no?
No. The liberals are armed with fatso.
Okay, I'm no! Filthy Jew stammered.
Oh.
Dieter sighed, holstering his Luger. That's too bad, really. He was looking forward to killing this priest in his face. Dieter knew that he could not. It would not be the same. Dieter began to wonder why he even bothered. He quickly suppressed the thought. It was a shameful thing, really. He was expected to kill for the Fuhrer. The Fuhrer is dead. He turned back to Twiggles. The giant Pegasus, he noticed, was arguing quite forcefully with Twiggles. Peter picked up words the blue-collar Pegasus, referring to him as a diamond dog. Todd was loudly assuring Rainbow Dash that Dieter was not, in fact, such a creature. Dieter sighed. He'd always known that his arrival would be greeted with something less than enthusiasm. Wherever he went, people had either been afraid of him or hated him. Sometimes he honestly couldn't like them. He was, after all, a Nazi. No one liked Nazis.
Oh.
Twiggles, yeah, it's a sad life.
I mean, except
I only thought to kill you.
The best that was before I advocated Omnis side as a matter of social policy.
All right, can we continue? This is a very until my vocal cords give out. Just for him to follow her, Peter shrugged. Follow the planet to gas. Jesus Christ. All right. The iron not be lost. Knew that happened in the concentration camps. They were death camps, really. I'd never been in a camp. No often necessary to completed the combat. The concentration camps where the SS Totenkopf. God damn it, I don't know this code.
SS Totenkopf.
Alright, thank you. I don't speak Kraut, so the infamous death heads.
I'm sorry, I don't speak commie.
You speak American like a normal human being.
Yeah, I only speak USA.
Yeah. He had a few friends in the group.
Americanese.
They were truly cold-blooded. They probably had a fewer emotions than he did. They were most likely dead by now. Peter didn't care. He hadn't really cared for people for quite some time. What was the point? Care for someone and they died. It always happened. Twiggles led him to what looked like a house built inside a tree. She lived there. The Sand Pegasus Rainbow Dash left sometimes before, presumably to gather some other horses. By the time Rainbow Dash returned, there were 3 others with her. Dieter observed them. There was an orange one with green eyes and a yellow mane and tail who you can forget about. The mane and tail were both tied into ponytails. Why are we still talking about this on horse? The pun was not lost on Dieter. Even more surprising, she wore what looked like an American cowboy. Why are we still talking about Applejack? She doesn't exist. She spoke with an obvious American accent. Was it Texan? She had 3 apples for a cutie mark, and that's all you'll hear from her. There was a white one, with blue eyes and purple mane. Strangely enough, was styled to look, what was the word? Posh. She had 3 diamonds as a cutie mark. When she saw Dieter, her eyes widened. She spoke in abject horror. Here standing before her, she had said was a crime against fabulous. Dieter couldn't care less what she thought of his looks. Finally, also with blue eyes, she had an extremely campaign. Now, when did it start?
About 10 seconds.
Well,
About 10 seconds ago.
God damn it. Just kidding.
I'm gonna read it. There was a white one with blue eyes and a purple mane. The mane, strangely enough, was styled to look.
I'm back.
Posh. She had
If you're gonna steal the.
When she saw Dieter, her eyes widened, and she spoke in abject horror. Here, standing before her, she had said, was a crime against fabulosity.
Look, man, if you're gonna keep this, if you're gonna keep hogging the spotlight, I'm just gonna sodomize your show.
Okay.
Finally, there was a pink one, also with blue eyes. She had extremely unkempt mane. She didn't walk. She bounced like there were springs in her legs. She had 3 balloons as a cutie mark. She was talking about throwing a welcome to Horseyville party. Dieter, as a rule, tended to avoid parties, brought up many painful memories that he had buried with his cold demeanor. The orange one introduced herself first. All right, Ryan, your go.
Howdy, my name's Applejack. Pleased to meet you.
My name is Go.
Touch
Please
me
follow
and I
me.
will break your legs.
Welcome to Private. Please follow
Alright.
me.
Alright, I think we should.
I'm sorry, I don't speak British.
You know what? Wait, so just a second. I think we should just make it a rule that every time Applejack just speaks, we just skip all the lines.
We just skip the lines. Good idea.
Yes.
Skip Applejack's lines. Nico, shut the fuck up.
So yeah, Ryan. Every time AJ speaks, pick her. All right.
Just like cough. Just.
All right. Applejack was taken aback. Excuse me. The white pony spoke next.
My name is Rarity. You look horrid, my dear. Allow me to fix up your uniform for you. It's a crime against fashion, and all grey and whatnot.
No, Dieter replied. You will not touch my uniform. It is against regulation to make alterations.
Rarity blinked. Rude was this creature. She tried to display generosity and indifference. The pink one was introduced next.
Oh my gosh! I finally. How do I do this voice? Finally I get to meet an alien! I'm gonna throw
Make your voice
a
very
party.
high pitched.
I can't.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I finally get to meet an alien! I'm throwing a party for you! Welcome to Partyville! I'm begging you! Bouncing up and down excitedly!
Dieter responded with silence, as did most of. Pinkie Pie, what an original name, Dieter thought. Pinkie bounced in circles around Dieter, almost expectantly. Dieter didn't respond. She grabbed onto his leg and stared up into his eyes, her own winding and brimming with tears. Such displays were lost to Dieter, so they only annoyed him.
Mein Gott, Dieter thought. They are really ignorant. Fashion parties? Dieter thought the last two words with distaste.
Finally, the cyan Pegasus Rainbow Dash zipped around his head and landed before.
I'm Rainbow Dash. You
I'm
better
a
stop
Rainbow-
being rude to my. You should stop being rude. So what? You better stop being so rude to my friend, jerk, or you'll have to deal with
We've got the
me.
ultimate Jewish voice here.
She flew up to his island and bumped his chest with his.
Do not touch me, Dieter put emphasis on each word. No one shall touch me.
Oh yeah? Oh what? You bleed on him?
Rainbow Dash
No,
wanted
the last
Brad to
person
break.
who touched me,
God.
I stabbed multiple times in the heart with a combat knife. Dieter said the words with a hint of amusement. He left out the fact that the person he had stabbed was in fact an enemy soldier trying to kill him. The group of friends recoiled in horror, never having heard someone speak so casually of such violence.
Fuck, I can't
I'm
take
op-
this. I'm gone. No, this is fucking
I am Obenfier Dieter Heinrich of the Waffen-Schultz-Saffel, and you will refer to me as such, Dieter stated loudly. The ponies glanced at each word. What did that even mean?
At each word.
All right, give me a. I'm gonna go handle something real quick. I'm gonna get dinner. Until then, I have. And so they entertain them. So I'm gonna just scream for like 5 minutes. All right.
Okay, I'm gonna keep saying. Now, they might. I don't remember the words. Dun 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 das ice dun 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 Erika dun 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 dun. All right, 5-minute break. We'll be back to read the next chapter in a second.
Are we doing this?
We are going to go until we drop.
Man, I was not expecting to have to do 6 voices. I don't have that type of vocal
You
range.
left us.
I did. I had to go eat.
This is your punishment. Somebody play the fucking Nazgul theme, motherfuckers.
Soweit sie konnte. Die Staatsmänner der alliierten Nationen, sie blieben hartherzig. Im Gegenteil, man sagte damals ganz eiskalt, dass wir 20 Millionen Deutsche zu viel seien. 1939
Daily reminder: the Nazbol gang represents.
Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang.
Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, go.
Nazbol gang, Nazbol gang, Nazbol gang, Nazbol gang.
Nazbol gang. And this is how I get everyone to disconnect while Cyrus is taking a break.
That disguise the art.
I'll come back in now when you guys are tired of this.
Oh, Dom had to go for a little bit. He's getting boomered at.
And now we wait for Cyrus to come back. Oh God, no!
I thought it was like
Nice.
10 more votes.
For some reason, I didn't have my DJ role. I don't know.
DJ.
Why. Yeah.
I feel emotionally and mentally scarred after this.
You feel emotionally and mentally connected.
I promise you. Chapters. There's more to go.
It's fine, Carlo.
It gets edgier.
But by the end of this, you'll be emotionally connected to all the characters.
I think I lost my mind when he asked the fucking horse whether it was a Jew.
It's a valid question.
What the fuck?
Get this Soviet music out of here. But
Oh, really? It does get edgier.
okay, to be clear, the pony has fucking money bags on its butt. Okay, so
It's a valid, yeah. It's a valid assumption.
Are you a Jew?
It's
I wish. Oh.
fair assumption.
You know,
It's a Jew.
this whole thing is gonna get reported to Discord, and we're all gonna get IP banned tomorrow. I guarantee it.
No, there's worse.
Also, no.
Implying Discord would dare come to this server.
Implying that's not a good thing, though.
It's probably for the
We all get banned. That'd be great.
Wouldn't that just leave Featherus on his own to run this server?
No, Feathers and Scoop. Scoop isn't in here.
Oh, Scoop left. Oh, and yeah, I did, but he's logged in here.
I want to read a chapter.
I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna see what I need to memorize.
Are a pirate.
No.
You are a pirate. Sounds like to me. You are a pirate. Oh.
No, you want me to continue?
No. Man, yeah, Nico's kind of ear rape is kind of shit. They should mute him again.
No. Stop.
Who's this Sodia nerd guy? This guy is going to be banned, I think.
Hey, you can't do that anymore.
No, I can still give myself commissar if I really. Actually, Nico, ban this guy for me.
Okay.
His name is Sodi is God. Oh, okay. No, he changed his name. He changed his name to Sodi is a god. Yes. Okay, he can stay now.
Oh, my finger slid. Oof.
Oof. I fucking kicked him. Holy shit.
What?
Literally a German. Literally a German.
When I get a position at Discord, you'll know. You'll just know. You will know that I have gotten a position at Discord, okay? You will know.
Nico, you sound like one of those people who just got like a soundboard for the first time ever and just playing random sounds.
No, he's had that for forever. He always does that.
I know, that's what I mean. He just sounds like he's.
Oh yeah.
I'm just annoying people.
You can do that without a soundboard.
Carver, tell Tino we're reading Nazis in Equestria. Tell the New Order to come here.
No, I refuse to inflict this upon my team members.
Cyrus and Yard are your team members, and they
Yeah,
are...
sure, they can stand in for the rest of the team.
No.
When I talked about the TNO Equestria at War crossover, I didn't mean this.
What?
You didn't?
I'm still banned for no reason there.
Why?
I'm still banned from that server for no reason. I didn't even do anything. Me?
That's the worst idea anyone has ever had.
Or just go into their Discord voice channel and start reading.
Just start reading, we should just read this in the Scaly server.
You just come in like, what's going on here? We just started reading. We're like, what?
Just fucking read.
What? Just go into random Discord servers and start reading stories.
Yeah.
Imagine
Just-
like a group of people just join. We think, oh, it's just one of those groups that just they're playing a multiplayer game. They just join them. They're just reading.
It's just like started just screaming like German stuff.
Just open up with, "Are you a Jew?"
Are you a Jew? Just anytime anyone joins the Discord, are you a Jew? And if anyone answers yes, everybody just like screams Jew.
Juden.
Everyone.
I see the Juden.
Unmute. Okay, I'll unmute you. Unmuted.
Oh, hello.
Okay, mute him again.
No, I'm alive. I want
That's a shame. That is the issue.
Oh.
What the fuck is that noise?
Man, if Discord could have banned this server, they'd have banned it years
Carver!
ago. A year
Hacking,
ago.
shut up.
Carver is sending out Morse code.
Yeah, sorry, it's my fucking phone.
It's this distress.
Don't worry, I can respond. I don't know what I was trying to do
I
then.
should have kept Selenite muted.
Oh. I'm okay though.
He's being held hostage by the Viet Cong. He's trying to
Cyrus, get the
communicate.
fuck back here, you nerd. I'm ready to read this next chapter. I'm gonna read it if he doesn't. We're losing time. We're burning daylight.
God forbid you are prevented from reading this masterpiece of literature.
Yeah, we need to finish the entire story, and he's wasting valuable time.
I can't believe he's doing that.
Fuck it, I want to read chapter 5. Here we go.
Oh no.
We can do this consider we got this. We don't need that Croat.
Chapter 5.
Hell yeah!
Sorry,
I'm getting a little overexcited over something. Completely unrelated.
Digger, the whole reading thing was the thing we did after the interview. Where the interview was like around
Yeah, how did that go? When's that going to be published?
That will be published on Monday, and we'll post the link probably.
How did it go?
It went well. Nico broke the no swearing rule about 3 minutes in.
Oh no.
You made it worse because you pointed it out.
No. And at
Nobody
the end of
would've-
the interview,
nobody would've
I said the mod was more popular than his YouTube channel.
See, the good thing is, I think he already turned off the recording by then. I hope.
Oh, good.
Well, that's just the
Because he
end.
said
Right at
she's-
the last thing anyone hears is that your mod is more popular than this YouTube channel.
No, I said the first thing. The changelings are the best country. This interview is over. That's literally the first thing I said. Okay.
That's all that gets posted to the YouTube channel.
That was the entire interview. Everything
5
else
minutes long.
was just garbage after.
Including what you
Okay.
and the debate between Cyrus about Horde and Alliance.
And then we started arguing
Horde is
about
clear
Horde versus Alliance at the
Oh
end.
yeah, the Horde is better than the Alliance.
Yeah, I mean Horde is superior, so I don't know what the fuck he's talking.
All right, here we go. Chapter 5, SS in Equestria. Conflict. Dieter studied the room he was in silently. Twilight's house. Although built in a tree, it was quite cozy. He noted that there were shelves and shelves of books. Dieter always enjoyed reading. He found reading to be edifying and quite refreshing. This place was apparently originally a library. On the surface, Dieter did not give any reaction.
Is there any punctuation in this thing? It's just only full stops.
Full stops. I guess no, Twilight's house has a punctuation.
Oh yeah, but it was one comma.
Yeah. Dieter noticed a purple scaled bipedal creature staring at him with wide green eyes. Dieter assumed this was a lizard of some sort. Twilight introduced the creature as Spike. Apparently, he was a baby dragon. Dieter resisted the urge to roll his eyes. Of course, there would be a dragon. He was in a land governed by sentient equines who was controlled by two deities who apparently controlled the sun and the moon. How could there not be dragons? Dieter wasn't as much confused as he was annoyed. It was like some sort of fairy tale. The dragon spoke. So you're an alien? I am human, not an alien, Dieter responded with his usual impassive tone. That was very passive, actually, never mind. Okay, that's cool, the dragon, obviously confused. The way Spike saw it, anything that was not native to Equestria was an alien. How could this creature not define itself as such? After the not-so-cordial introduction that Dieter had given the ponies, they seemed to be avoiding him as best they could.
I wonder why.
Dieter noticed them glancing at him in the corner, at least. He assumed he was the subject of their current conversation, since they were constantly glancing at him. Of course, they could have simply been intimidated by him. Dieter preferred it when people were afraid of him. It gave him a gratifying feeling of empowerment. Applejack, the orange one, came up to him. Dieter knew it was like... oh, yes, yeah, fine. Dieter knew it was likely another attempt to get him to apologize for his coarse introduction. Applejack looked him up and down, frowning. Dieter remained still, standing in the center of the room, commanding the attention. It was almost like a statue. He wore no facial expression. He appeared even more emotionless than the Canterlot Royal Guards. And that was saying something. Applejack spoke. He worded heavily accented. Yeah, okay, that's wrong. Spoke in a heavily worded accent.
Applejack spoke he words heavily accented.
Yes.
You know what I think, Mr. Heinrich? I think that you are very rude and should at least be nice. Try to be nice. What I mean to say is that we are showing you hospitality. You should try and at least be thankful.
Applejack looked up at him expectantly. One, Dieter replied. You will call me Obenführer. Obenführer, Heinrich, or Sir. You will not call me Mr. Heinrich. I hold a military rank and will be addressed as such. Applejack narrowed her eyes. Two, Dieter continued. Do not presume to lecture me on my manners. I outrank you, therefore I will follow what I order, not vice versa. Applejack's eyes became like slits.
I will follow what I...
Dieter noticed that the ponies were staring at him again. Eyes widened. Rainbow Jess displayed obvious hostility towards his words. Dieter got the feeling she did not find his demeanor endearing. Dieter did not care. His purpose was not to be endearing. He did not want to become attached to others, since they had a nasty habit of dying on him. Some died naturally, others were murdered. Some shot on the battlefield, others torn apart by shell fragments. No, he could not afford to become attached to people, or colorful horses, much less something that was not human. Dieter still had not decided whether or not he was going to designate them as Untermensch, like the Jews. Just as Dieter was about to turn away, the rainbow-colored trail zipped right up to him. For the second time in many hours, Dieter found Rainbow Dash right in his face.
Hey! Rainbow Dash yelled. No one talks to my friends like that. Do you hear me?
Dieter smirked in amusement. This was the first time that day he had made any facial expression in front of others. The expression
Alright,
seemed
which
to only
chapter are we?
infuriate Rainbow Dash.
We're halfway through 5.
The expression as a mocking one. She charged him. Dieter knew the attack was coming. It was written all over Rainbow Dash's body language, from the tensing of the muscle to the clenching of the teeth. It had been obvious. When she came at him, hooves extended, Dieter sidestepped. His hand fell onto his belt. He drew his combat knife. In one fluid motion, he had his arm around a stunned Rainbow Dash. He brought the knife up to her throat. Rainbow Dash tried to squirm out of his grasp, but he was stronger by far. Do not attack me, Dieter hissed. Next time I may not be so merciful. He let go of Rainbow Dash, who collapsed on the ground. gasping for breath. The stunned silence was almost deafening. Rainbow Dash, the fastest of them all, had been bested in less than 2 seconds flat.
So,
The ponies couldn't believe it. Dieter,
Whoa.
they realized, was a warrior that far outclassed them all. Not to mention the fact he was at least 2 feet taller than all. Dieter replaced his knife. Shouldn't it be like he holstered his knife? Whatever.
yeah, almost.
There was a sudden pounding at the door. Cyrus and his fucking... I can hear everything in his room again.
Well, yeah, that's... Yeah, I was trying... I provide sound effects for the story. There was pounding at the door, so, you know.
Cyrus, just play gunfire in the background for 2 hours. Just like Berlin. We're still in Berlin. This is just a hallucination. We're bleeding out.
Yeah,
There was a sudden pounding at the door. Twilight telekinetically opened the door, noting a surprised look on Dieter's face. Something obviously did startle him. Perhaps his species weren't capable of magic. Or Guard, who was framed in the door. Behind him was an angry diamond dog.
Oh my fucking god, I remember this chapter.
Almost as coldly as Dieter. I doubt that. I very much doubt the pony could speak as coldly as Dieter. The guard spoke almost as coldly as Dieter. We captured this creature when it was raiding. Its brethren here were captured a few of our ponies. We are unsure where they are being held. Since you are Princess Celestia's student, we were wondering if you could use your magic for an interrogation. Moran.
Huh? I'm sorry, sir, but I can't use my magic so brutishly.
Twilight replied, shocked. I understand, Miss Twilight. It was worth a try. Dieter, knife in hand, approached the guard, running his fingers over the blade to test the sharpness. He spoke. There was more indifference in his voice than what the guard was even incapable. Allow me! Dinner grinned wolfishly, his blue eyes fixed intently on the dog before him. He finally got to do something that was slightly challenging. Interrogation, after all, was an art. The pony shrank away from the fear-inducing form. The diamond dog whimpered. You should be afraid, Dieter declared, as the dog began to struggle.
Alright, now I'll go back to being the narrator again.
That's the end of chapter 5.
Yeah, this chapter is a personal favorite, as it is one of the single most ridiculous parts of this entire story, which is really saying something. Thank God I got some whiskey.
This is where the edge truly begins.
Yes, this is where the edge truly begins. Chapter 6. Interrogation. With a blade in hand, Dieter's impassiveness is even more terrifying. He brandished the knife as he walked over to the diamond dog strapped to the table. The guard had the man to stay behind to observe Dieter's technique. And the rest of the ponies neither refused to go nor refused to stay. He simply remained rooted to the ground in fear as Dieter sharpened the blade. Dieter turned to the dog.
Turned to the dog. Here are the rules of this interrogation. You will answer my questions. If you answer my questions satisfactorily, you will have a quick death. If you do not, you will beg for death. If you are lying or refuse to answer, I will begin cutting off parts. I will work my way up.
The dog whimpered, and once more righted against its bonds. Dieter approached, his face giving nothing away. No horror, no fear, no joy. It would not be the first time he had used such interrogation methods. The longest that anyone had out against his probing was 15 minutes. It was a miracle, really. The primary assessment generally consumed much of this time. Dieter would rather that the dog give up right away, so that he would not have to waste his time too much.
First, what is your name and designation? Dieter asked coolly.
The dog?
A fucking stupid way to spell coolly.
Coolly, yeah. The dog didn't respond, opting instead to grind its teeth. Dieter sighed. Dieter tightened his grip around the combat knife. He raised it over his head. He brought the sharp tip down direct into the dog's foot, opening up a huge gash and eliciting a cry of pain from the dog. Dieter proceeded to carve through the skin and into the bone. The ponies gasped at the brutality displayed. They never thought that Dieter had actually meant what he had said. No, stop, begged the dog, paddling from the pain. I'll tell you what you want.
Go on, Dieter responded, lifting the knife. Give me your name and designation.
Me Bingo, me just a grunt. Please don't hurt us, the dog whined pleadingly.
Good. Tell me what I need, and I will end your pain. Dieter replied emotionlessly. Where are the ponies being held?
Me can't tell you that. Me don't know, the dog frantically cried.
I believe you, Dieter turned away.
The dog sighed in relief, but suddenly howled as Dieter with the knife. Dieter quickly castrated the dog. The guard's pony turned green despite his superior training. Fluttershy fainted from the horrifying scene before her, being eyes main deflated and whole, her carefree attitude vanishing to thin air. Applejack and Rainbow Dash squeezed their eyes shut. Rarity ran outside to vomit. Twiggles simply stood rooted to the ground, rendered mute by the sheer brutality displayed. So
I always had my dogs neutered, Dieter stated. Now answer my question.
The dog panted, being held as slaves, burrows outside horsey will. Rarity, who had entered the building despite her conscience screaming at her not to, nodded. She had been captured by the diamond dogs once before. While she was out collecting gems. She knew exactly what the dog was referring to. She told Dieter what she knew. Dieter with the blade.
How many of your brethren are within these caverns? Dieter asked.
The dog responded instantly, not wishing to endure the pain long. They about 70. The dog's voice had taken a high-pitched squall. Please, kill me, the dog pleaded, as did the audience.
One more question, and I will grant you a silent mercy. I am a man of my word.
One more question. The dog's breathing had become erratic as the pain threatened to overwhelm him.
What kind of weapons do you have? Dieter asked, obviously interested.
Mostly clubs, knives, and swords. Kill me! The dog and the audience begged in unison. Dieter brought back the knife. He looked the dog in the eye. The dog stared back despite the pain. After what seemed like hours. It was in fact only a few seconds. Dieter brought the knife down into the dog's jugular, splitting the larynx in half and severing several white arteries. The dog breathed its last. Dieter remained impassive, even though on the inside his stomach cried. Dieter had a dog in his childhood. He had just killed reminded him too much of that happy time that he had long ago buried. Despite the facade of amusement, Dieter hated torture. He glanced at the wall. The interrogation had taken only 2 minutes, 15 seconds, less than an average human. As Dieter turned back towards the ponies, he saw them covering at his glance. He didn't blame them. He must have looked like a monster, covered in blood. Dieter wiped his blood-stained and bloody knife on the dog's throat and sheathed it. He looked at Rarity.
Madame, would you be so kind as to guide me in the caverns? I will finish what I started. Dieter's eyes seemed to glint with the prospect of a good fight. He was ready.
Author's note. Next chapter, huge battle. The weather conditions will be violent and a chance of extreme trauma.
Oh, the weather conditions will be bad. No Stukas.
The comments are even good as well.
Wait, if it's a battle, do we need like combat sound effects?
Or it's just a bunch of guys with
fire in the background.
But it's just a guy with like some dogs with clubs and a guy with a leader.
Okay, I'm gonna steal this from Dev Chat. This SS officer seems more like a disciple of Korn.
Oh god, the Dev Chat. I feel bad for Carver here.
Carver, how are you enjoying the story so far?
I want to backflip into a volcano.
I mean, that should be fairly easy for you. You're from Iceland. You have plenty of those.
Yeah. This but does Himmler. This is just Himmler. This is just Himmler and Heydrich.
Well, I mean, technically, I am the I do devil like the nation Heydrich leads in TNO.
So now you're getting inspiration. It's fine. Let's keep going.
Look, man, if you had a reference to this, I'll pay you, man.
I like how okay, just for reference, this chapter now, the new next chapter is called Purge. It's just called Purge.
Oh, so it's going to be a nonsensical series of movies?
Yeah, more or less.
I
I mean,
Did you not hear about the theatrical adaptation of this fanfic?
that would be something.
oh god, we need a Carpenter story now.
Okay, Cyrus, do you want to read this chapter?
Yeah, let's go. To hell.
Do it, boys.
Wait, there's this chapter 7.
This is chapter 7, yes. You just
That's Holy Judaic number, so we'll just refer to it as number 6.1. Purge.
6.1. 6.1.
Yeah, 6.1. We can't use the numbers. God damn it, there's some viewers. We're gonna get banned by DSS for this.
I'm terribly sorry. I need to go to their barbecue sometime. I can't afford to get banned.
Purge. Rarity and Dieter stood before the hole in the earth. It was interesting. Dieter thought that creatures that were obviously canine would live in there, like moles. He saw his gas mask over his face that he definitely had since the start of the story.
He definitely had that, yeah.
He had stated that there could be certain pollutants in the air that necessitated the wearing of the mask. Truth be told, he wore it more for the scare factor. After all, what was more terrifying than an emotionless insectoid death mask? So the obviously. Roger thought the mask was horrid, but it didn't come in. So he's perfectly describing you here,
I know.
Later pulled out one of his several Model 24 hand grenades that he definitely had. He noticed Rarity eyeing the grenade curiously. Dieter paused to see if she was going to say anything. She opted not to. Shrugging, Dieter proceeded to cock the grenade, and his penis, much to Rarity's surprise, dropped it down the hole. After a few seconds, there was an earth-shattering explosion and several howls of pain. The ground was not far down. Dieter jumped. He hit the ground and rolled, MP40 aimed further into the cavern. Rarity gave a grunt as she dropped down next to him. There was a scraping noise as several diamond dogs closed in. Dieter spotted the first one on the roof of the cavern. He aimed for the head, pulled the trigger. Rarity shrieked as a loud explosion echoed through the cavern. The dog's head suddenly caved in from the sheer force of the scream, and the twitching corpse fell to the ground, dead. Dieter booted it with satisfaction. Textbook kill. Rarity, once again, had to resist the urge to vomit. Dieter poked the barrel of his gun around the corner, peeking out after it. 2 metal armored dogs came charging towards him. Dieter shot both of them through the visors, pulverizing their skulls. A third dog came charging through. There was another flash of bright yellow light as the bullet sped its way into the dog's chest. The bullet pulverized the dog's sternum, driving bone fragments into its heart. Finally, the bullet severed the spine, sending the dog's corpse crawling to the ground in a pool of its own blood. It was quiet, Dieter nodded to himself. The dogs were intellectually compromised and easy to kill. Inferior opponents for Germany's elite. Walking forward, he found that the cavern branched off into 5 directions.
Dieter glanced at Rarity, noticing that she was shivering. Lead on, Dieter ordered.
Rarity knew where they were previously, but it could only stand to reason that they had harvested all the gems in that particular region of the cavern and had moved on. Rarity cast her gem finding spell. The dogs would likely be where the most gems. Dieter followed Rarity's lead as she headed towards the cave on the far left, silently scanning for targets of opportunity. Several more dogs came charging out, each mowed down by Dieter's superior firepower. 6 fully armored dogs came from multiple directions. They were covered head to toe in steel, and each carried a sword. Nominally, dogs' armor could stop swords or knives swung randomly towards them. They had specific weak points and stood no chance against a well-trained opponent. In fact, I think the hardest part of the armor could God damn it.
Where's that Nico?
No, that's Carve.
I'm just doing the sound effects.
Alright, anyhow, let's continue. Dieter found himself surrounded, very covered, knowing full well what would happen if they would be raped. Just so the audience knows. Dieter's body expression suggested boredom. He fired 5 shots before his first magazine emptied. Each bullet punched a vital organ within the dogs' bodies, exploding hearts, severing nerves, and pulping brains. The final dog took a swing at him. Dieter knew it and knew that if one blow connected him, he was finished. Dieter rolled under the stripe, drawing his knife, and traveled under the dog. He jabbed his blade through the dog's unarmored groin. The dog howled at this apparent assault upon its masculinity. The dog toppled to its knees. Dieter stood behind it and jabbed his blade into the neck of the dog's neck, into the back of the dog's neck, in between the helmet and the body plate. Dieter reloaded his MP40. He still had around 90 magazines left to spare that he definitely had, and several for his Luger. The killing continued. Give me a second. Oh, this is the best thing that could have ever happened, and I unfortunately can't share it. Oh, Jesus, I'll share it so that he'll understand it. Just give me a second. This is very important. God damn it, turn off those. Alright, I think my audio broke. Give me a second. Hello, can anyone hear me?
Hello, I hear you.
Alright, perfect. Attacking problem. The brief silence is punctuated as a gunfire. Who's providing the fucking gun sound effects? I'm gonna for you.
It's Nico. Nico's going bang bang.
Nico, I swear to fucking
immersive.
God,
It's immersive.
I'm gonna travel to northern Turkey and beat your ass so bad they're gonna think
It's a battle. It's a battle.
Just make pews every time he says shoot. Just say like bang bang.
Bang bang.
Bang bang. Oh, look who's back.
Shalom.
Shalom, my brother.
Welcome, we're just at the battle. You missed the interrogation.
You owe me shekels for this.
I don't. The killing continued.
We have sound effects now.
By sporadic gunfires, Dieter rooted and efficiently gunned down the dogs that attacked him. Heads exploded, hearts stopped bleeding, limbs were amputated by shrapnel. Dieter used his grenades in highly concentrated areas. The walls of the cave were splattered red with blood like some maniac's random fit of creativity. Not a little of the ichor splattered onto Dieter himself, though, obviously. He ignored it. This wasn't the first time in his life he had found himself covered head to toe in the blood of his enemies. Unfortunately, a lot of blood also splattered onto Rarity, who reacted poorly to the vicious red fluid. The cavern eventually began to widen out as they came to the dog's mining area. Peter noticed several pieces of luminous golden armor discarded haphazardly around the room. He heard the sounds of whips being cracked. He saw several white ponies pulling what appeared to be trolleys as if they were the ugliest creature he had ever seen whip them onwards. They obviously led the group. Without hesitation, Dieter blew the largest one's head open. It took 2 steps. Its primitive nervous system not yet realizing it was dead. It collapsed in a bloody heap on the floor. The other 2 turned to face him. The medium-sized dog wailed as its eye was suddenly knocked from its socket. The smallest dogs just simply blew out, leaving a cavity the size of Dieter's fist. The guards turned to stare at him apprehensively. They thought they had it bad when they had been captured by, of all things, diamond dogs. And thought that they would be ended right there by his angry bipedal god that had so easily dispatched a war of dogs. Peter saw several of them move their mouths in what they assumed were prayers. "Oh, sweet Celestia," he heard whisper, "have mercy upon my soul."
You're cutting out.
God damn it.
Equestria's armed forces were pathetic in Dieter's eyes. How had these soldiers been so easily captured by a foe, so intellectually incapable and inferior that they had simply charged into the maw of his guns? Dieter grimaced. They reminded him of Russians. Just before Stalingrad, retreat, retreat, retreat. That was likely all they did. Dieter removed his mask after breathing stale air through the mask respirator in the cave's musky air was almost sweet. Dieter fixated each of the ponies with a hard glare, noting that each of them squirmed under his cold observation. Dieter paused for a moment, moving to free the guard's ponies.
Alright, that was chapter 7.
I like that chapter. It really sets the tone for the book.
I haven't even looked at this fucking
Need
thing for years.
more
This is
gun
weird.
sound effects, my dudes.
How weird is this?
They reminded him of Russians.
Oh, you want more sound effects?
Okay.
Yes,
Very,
you want
very,
the sound effects?
I literally wrote this when I was fucking. So it's
We're on chapter 8 now.
let's say it's not the most high quality thing I've ever written.
Oh, I didn't know.
Cyrus.
No, I'm asking what chapter until which chapter.
You cut out. I don't know what you just said.
Until which chapter we read this story because
Until we get sick of it.
Yeah. I'm enjoying it.
Since we started this.
I'm gonna read chapter 8. I'm invested. I'm reading.
You read the chapter 8. I'm gonna go take a short break because my throat's genuinely hurting a bit.
Okay.
Oof.
Alright, let's get in the mood. Dieter was the first to climb out of the hole. It was easier for him because, he had hands. So he could dig his fingers into the earth and lift himself up. To the ponies waiting for him to emerge, he looked like an angry demon, covered head to toe in his enemy's vitra. He was terrifying to all who saw him. Rarity and the guard ponies took much longer to reach the surface, to Dieter's displeasure. It took them long because they had hooves, not hands, and were inept at climbing. They looked bedraggled and beaten. In the case of the guard's pony, beaten was probably literal. Dieter ignored them completely, and opting to instead walk to a nearby stream to wash. He may have been used to being bathed in blood, but he did not like the stickiness. Dieter was interrupted. They would pay for that. "My name is Captain Surefire," she said. "I would like to thank you for rescuing us." Dieter grunted in response. They were soldiers, these guards' ponies, but they certainly didn't act as such. Once again, he thought of how pathetic the ponies really seemed to be. They lived in a world without war. Dieter had nightmares about stuff like that. How could a career soldier... What would a career soldier do without war? It seemed to him that the Equestrian Royal Guard had more in common with the Allgemeine SS than with the Waffen. They certainly looked good with their weapons and armor, but they rarely used them. Looking up, Dieter noticed that Captain Surefire had gone. Good riddance. Dieter finished washing up. He put on his uniform once again and noticed that there were no holes. The dogs hadn't even managed to touch him. Dieter smiled coolly. They were hardly worth the time. It made a change from Soviets. He continued replacing his equipment. How the fuck does he replace it? He's like in Equestria. Okay.
With his 19 megas.
Don't question it. None of this makes sense.
With his 19
Really?
megas.
I was immersed
There was a
until this
loud
point.
commotion coming from the town square. Dieter
I know it's hard to imagine that the story was written haphazardly because of how brilliant it is, but suspend your disbelief.
It's meticulously crafted.
I didn't spend 5 minutes in every chapter at all. No siree.
There was a loud commotion coming from the town square. Dieter was going to ignore it at first. Then he noticed a chariot being pulled by more of the royal guard. On that chariot sat a unicorn with wings. At least that's what it looked like. Dieter, overwhelmed by curiosity, made his way to the square. He noticed how the ponies bowed to the winged uniform. Dieter stood tall, the only creature not bowing other than that creature. That's weird. He noted that the mane was multi-hued, seemingly ethereal. The mane was moving in a breeze that wasn't there. It was quite odd. The creature also had pinkish eyes that seemed to radiate some sort of warm calm. Dieter realized that this must be the pony's ruler. You would think the regalia and the stuff would give it away.
Maybe.
No, it's the eyes. The creature turned to face him. "I am Princess Celestia, the ruler of Equestria. I welcome you to our fair land, Obenfuhrer Dieter Heinrich of the Waffen-Schultstaffel." Dieter stared at her incredulously. The highest-ranking ruler was not a queen or an empress, but a princess. The ponies didn't even have the initiative to seize a title of supreme executive power? Dieter cringed. He knew he should have expected a pathetic title, considering what he had seen from all the ponies thus far. Celestia, having no answer, continued. I would like to thank you for rescuing some of my royal guards, Pony. It must have been a great kindness to risk one's life to rescue strangers. Dieter smiled. It was not a pleasant smile of warmth, but a smile of cold amusement. He spoke. I needed something to do. In truth, Princess. Dieter fairly hissed the word. I couldn't care less for their survival. This was not done out of kindness. Bear that in mind. Celestia's eyes widened, and the guard ponies that flanked her tensed at Dieter's statement. The ponies gathered, gasped at his coarse response. This author likes to use coarse a lot. I've noticed that so far.
This causes me physical pain.
No pony had ever spoken to the princess in such a way before. Of course, Dieter was not a pony. He was the superior Aryan Ubermensch. So that statement remained true. A guard's pony wearing blue armor leapt down to face Dieter, seething. Wait, blue armor? This is one of Luna's nerds. This is gonna end badly. Okay, our actual story. You dare! The pony shouted. You dare insult our princess? I'll have you know that our hospitality of the crown is punishable by death.
What?
Ah, this is gonna end badly. First of all, he didn't really insult her. He just said, this guy.
Hospitality is punishable by the
Hospitality. Oh, hostility.
hostility.
My bad. I'll have you know that
How dare you
is punishable by death.
What in time?
How dare you be rude? How dare you? I will kill you.
Also, sorry, you're pretty wrong about who this was.
Maybe.
It's shining armor. It's armor.
Oh,
Read
When are they gonna
read
stop?
read the transcendental edition.
Oh,
Dieter
I'm
remained
gonna go on to the
cold.
enhanced.
Dieter remained cold, not giving the pony
It is
satisfaction
Estus
of
and
seeing
Equestria
fear.
that made 300 times edgier.
Do you think I am afraid
intentionally.
of a death threat? I have been shot, stabbed, blown up, bayoneted, lacerated, and burned enough times that I no longer care. If I were hostile to the crown by any stretch, I would have already killed everything that moves within this square right now, and I would have done so with ease. Do not think to threaten me. Dieter's voice became dangerously low at the last sentence. The ponies in the square gasped, and some began edging away from him in fear. Dieter took a step towards the god's pony, his face set in stone. The god's pony didn't budge. It was the first pony that Dieter had saw with any guts whatsoever. Dieter noticed that the pony had a cobalt blue crest to match his tail, and that he had an armor plate on his front modded with the six-pointed star of chaos.
Wait, what?
So as Dieter spoke, no, that's me being funny, Cyrus.
You're never funny.
I'm funny.
I still insist that you read the transcendental edition.
We will just calm your tits for a second.
I am never
Celestia
calm.
spoke. Commander Shining Armor, stand down. The pony deflated and made his way back to the princess. She turned again to face Dieter. She stared at him. He stared back. The princess, in a 1,000-year reign, had never seen such a cold, seething glare. This man knew violence. He knew it very well. You shall disarm yourself and return with me to Canterlide. Dieter responded by leveling his MP40 at Celestia's head, aiming for her eye.
You know, as you often do.
You thought.
The finger in
It's
her
a logical step.
in the most violent fashion conceived. Dieter buried his emotion, preparing for a fight in case the guards made them move. I will go with you, Dieter said firmly, ice in his voice, but I will not disarm myself. Do I make myself clear? Celestia was taken aback. This was the first time anyone had defied her. Wow, okay. Of course, this was the first time for everything. And Celestia didn't want to risk the human's wrath. She nodded. Very well. And that was
Just
the
like,
end of
can't we just use magic to take the gun out of his hands?
You
so,
think
I
I
don't
actually
know.
thought that far
No,
ahead?
no, the reason.
He'd be deflected by his edge.
Oh,
no,
Be affected by his Aryan super genes.
I actually do have an explanation. I do have an explanation for this, right? The reason why why Celestia just can't float the gun out of his hands is because Himmler himself personally carved SS runes into his gun.
The Sonnenrad in the gun is blessed.
Nazi magic. Oh, no.
Yes, Himmler came to him as a child, and like he traveled back in time, and he gave him this magical gun filled with SS runes, right?